Pain hit him like thunder, but his face remained stone. The blade had sliced deep into his shoulder, blood seeping through his robes, yet Miyamoto Musashi stood perfectly still. His opponent expected a scream, a flinch, something that confirmed the strike had landed with the force intended. Instead, Musashi smiled, not from madness, but from understanding something his enemy never would. Pain wasn't his weakness, it was his weapon. The samurai didn't avoid suffering. They walked straight into it, eyes open, knowing that on the other side of agony lay something most people never discover. Invincibility isn't about never feeling pain. It's about transforming every ounce of suffering into unshakable strength. Your relationship with pain determines everything, not just in combat, but in every battle you face. The moment you flinch from discomfort, you hand control to whatever's hurting you. The second you try to escape it, you become its prisoner. But when you turn toward pain, when you embrace it fully, something shifts. The pain remains, but its power over you evaporates. Think about the last time something truly hurt. Maybe a failure that crushed your confidence. Perhaps a loss that felt unbearable. Your instinct was to run, to numb yourself, to pretend it wasn't happening. That's exactly what keeps you vulnerable. The samurai understood that running from pain doesn't make you safe. It makes you soft. Musashi fought over 60 duels to the death. 60 times he stood face to face with someone trying to end his life. He accumulated scars like other men collect memories. Each one told a story, not of survival, but of transformation. Because here's what nobody tells you about pain. It's information. Every ache, every wound, every moment of suffering is trying to teach you something crucial about yourself. During his training, Musashi would strike wooden posts until his hands bled. His teacher didn't stop him. Other students thought he was destroying himself. They were wrong. He was building something stronger than bone. He was forging a mind that couldn't be broken by physical sensation. The hands healed tougher. The spirit became unshakable. There's a Japanese concept called tanrin. It means to forge, like steel in fire. The samurai applied this to their entire being. They didn't just train their sword technique. They trained their capacity to endure. They deliberately sought discomfort because comfort creates weakness. Ease makes you fragile. Challenge makes you unbreakable. You've been taught the opposite your whole life. Avoid pain, seek pleasure, stay comfortable. Protect yourself from anything that hurts. This advice sounds caring, but it's actually the cruelest thing anyone can tell you, because life doesn't care about your comfort. Challenges will come whether you're ready or not. And when they do, all that careful avoidance leaves you defenseless. Watch how most people handle difficulty. The first sign of discomfort, and they retreat. A tough workout gets skipped. A difficult conversation gets postponed. A challenging project gets abandoned. They think they're being smart, preserving their energy, protecting themselves. They're actually guaranteeing their own weakness. The samurai saw it differently. They understood that your tolerance for pain directly determines your capacity for achievement. Every worthy goal sits on the other side of significant discomfort. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is measured in pain you're willing to endure. Musashi once wrote that you must become acquainted with every aspect of existence, including suffering, not because suffering is noble, but because understanding it gives you power. When you know pain intimately, when you've sat with it instead of fleeing, it loses its ability to control you. Modern society offers 1,000 ways to numb yourself. Distractions, substances, endless entertainment, all designed to help you avoid feeling anything difficult. The samurai had none of this, and that wasn't their disadvantage. That was their strength. They had no choice but to face everything directly. No escape routes, no easy outs, just them and reality, raw and unfiltered. This created warriors who couldn't be intimidated, can't threaten someone with pain when they've already made peace with it, can't break someone who's already been broken and rebuilt themselves stronger. The samurai weren't invincible because nothing could hurt them. They were invincible because hurt couldn't stop them. But here's where it gets interesting. The path to this kind of strength isn't what you think. Most people assume it requires years of brutal training, some kind of extreme ascetic lifestyle. They're missing something crucial about how transformation actually works. The transformation doesn't require decades. It requires a single decision, repeated daily until it becomes who you are. Musashi's method was deceptively simple. He called it polishing the spirit through 10,000 days, not 10,000 different practices. The same practice, 10,000 times. One strike perfected through endless repetition until the boundary between him and the movement dissolved completely. Most people practice until they get it right once, then move on. The samurai practiced until they couldn't get it wrong. There's a massive difference. Think about what happens when you repeat something past the point of boredom. Your mind rebels. It screams for novelty, for something easier, for anything else. This rebellion is where most people stop. The samurai recognize this moment as where real training begins. Because on the other side of that resistance lies automaticity. The skill becomes embedded so deeply that thinking becomes unnecessary. Your body knows before your mind does. Modern research calls this overlearning. The samurai discovered it centuries ago through direct experience. They found that practicing something beyond mastery creates stress-proof performance. When exhausted, injured, or terrified, technique remains. Not because you remember it, but because you've become it. Here's what this means for you right now. Whatever you're building, whatever skill matters to your goals, you're probably stopping too early. You practice until competent, maybe even until good. Then you declare yourself done and wonder why it crumbles under pressure. The samurai would say, you've barely started. Competence is the foundation. Mastery begins when competence becomes effortless. But there's something even more valuable buried in this approach. The real power isn't the skill itself. It's what happens to your mind during those 10,000 repetitions. You learn to tolerate monotony. You discover that boredom is just another sensation you can sit with. You realize that your resistance to repetition was protecting nothing important. This psychological shift changes everything. Because life's biggest challenges rarely require exotic skills. They require showing up consistently when everything in you wants to quit. They demand continuing when results seem invisible. They need you to do the same unglamorous work again and again while others chase shortcuts. The samurai's training method wasn't really about the sword. It was about building a mind that finishes what it starts. Musashi fought his first duel at 13, his last at 60. Between them, dozens of life or death encounters. Yet his writings from old age show no bitterness, no trauma, no haunting from violence. How? He processed pain through practice. Every difficult experience became material for refinement. Instead of burying wounds, he examined them. Instead of avoiding what hurt, he studied it until he understood its mechanics. This is the piece most people miss about resilience. It's not about being tough enough to ignore pain. It's about being wise enough to learn from it. Every hardship contains specific information about your weaknesses. The samurai didn't just endure difficulties. They extracted lessons from them, then trained specifically to address those vulnerabilities. Pain became their teacher instead of their enemy. You can adopt this approach immediately. Next time something hurts, whether physical or emotional, pause. Don't flee into distraction. Don't numb it. Ask what it's trying to show you. Where did you leave yourself exposed? What capacity needs development? Which assumption proved wrong? Then train that specific weakness until it becomes strength. This is how suffering transforms into power instead of just damage. The samurai understood something profound about human potential. You're not limited by your current capacity. You're limited by your willingness to expand it. Every boundary you accept becomes a cage. Every challenge you embrace becomes a doorway. The choice between these two paths happens in small moments, dozens of times per day. Right now, you face some difficulty. Something uncomfortable you need to do, some pain you need to endure, some boring repetition you need to complete. Your instinct says, avoid it. Find an easier path. The samurai would tell you that instinct is the enemy, not because difficulty is virtuous, but because on the other side of that resistance sits the person you're trying to become. The path forward is simple but not easy. Choose one practice. Repeat it past the point of boredom. Sit with discomfort instead of fleeing it. Let pain teach instead of destroy you. Do this daily until the person doing these things is simply who you are. That's the samurai method. That's how you become unbreakable. The warriors didn't discover some secret technique hidden from the rest of humanity. They simply stopped negotiating with difficulty. You already know what you need to do. The hard conversation waiting, the skill requiring monotonous practice, the discomfort you've been avoiding. Stop waiting for readiness. Start before you feel prepared. The samurai became invincible, not through some mystical revelation, but through the decision to stop retreating from what hurts.